In this video, I'm going to try to repair these scratch marks all over the back portion of this Toyota Sienna. This is a 2015 Toyota Sienna, and there are a lot of scratch marks on both sides. And I'm going to try with the heat gun, and I'll see how far I go. So what I've done is I have cleaned the surfaces with soap and water, and that's probably the first thing to do. And I'll get my heat gun and try to repair this. For this repair, I'm going to use this Wagner heat gun, and this has both settings for the low and high heat. I'm going to use the high heat here, and what I'm going to do is just focus the heat gun, just keep it moving, don't leave it for too long, and you can see that the surface, the plastic will melt, and it's going to get you so you need to move a little bit faster, otherwise you will get a shiny look. But whatever you do is probably going to look better than what I have right now. So this is the best way to repair any of these plastic panel if you have a lot of scratches on the plastic panel. And you can see how the scratches are disappearing. Just make sure that you don't keep the heat gun too close to one area, otherwise it will start melting too quickly. So in this case, I have some of the deep scratches, and I might need a couple of rounds here, but the light scratches are already going away. It takes a little patience and time, so if you keep doing it and you come back to places where it has deep scratches, you will see the scratches will disappear. Especially you can see it for the dark panel on the bottom I have here. There are other techniques. You can probably use a blowtorch. I've seen the blowtorch which has a much higher heat, but I prefer the heat gun because I think it's better for me to control with less heat, and I can do it in multiple tries or multiple rounds on the same spot. I'll come back to the ones which has deep scratches in there. So let me try this here and see. I tried to find a plastic paint, and you can see how this already will, whenever those white lines on the plastic, the scratches with white lines, they disappear, it will already look good. You see how it's disappearing. And I thought of painting with plastic paint, but I couldn't match the exact paint color, and it's difficult to find interior plastic paint color. But you can try that. That might be a touch-up that I might do on some of the places here. But if I can hide the scratches, that will look better already. This is on the tailgate, and there are a lot of scratches on this. The deep scratches are a little difficult, but I'm going to remove any of those white marks on the scratches. This is a little thinner plastic, and it's going to bubble up a little bit or buckle, but if I push it back when it gets colder, it should go back to its own form. So if you move the heat gun in the direction of the scratches, for example this line, it's all fading away and you can see a smooth finish. Here is before. A lot of scratches you can see, and this has been pretty banged over in the back. A lot of deep scratches. For these scratches, what I'm going to use is a wet towel. So once I go over this, I will use a wet towel to just so that it doesn't make it too shiny. So whenever you have deep scratches, you can take a wet towel and run over the wet towel. Once you get the, for example, there's a groove over here and I don't want it to become too shiny, so I'm going to use the wet towel. One thing to be careful about is the headliner is very susceptible to heat. So I was not careful and it did melt a little bit. So what I am doing is I'm keeping a wet cloth and holding the wet cloth against the headliner. When you are getting close to any of the headliner, once you should use a wet cloth. This is the final how it looks after the scratch repairs. So it looks much better. If you remember how scratched up and banged up it was on this side, these places were all banged up and they have some scuff marks, but this is much better in terms of, and the tailgate also looks way better. So hope this helps, and if you like the video, click the like button, and also subscribe to my channel. I have other videos on this minivan, and especially how I sold this minivan